I am back with another video on Python. So today we're going to look at pickle and unpickle. So first let's look at what pickle means. So pickle is a module that Python offers uh, to basically help you to serialize and deserialize your objects or data structures. So what does that mean actually? So serializing, if I understand correctly, is a process of converting an object state into a file or a format that can be saved into memory actually, right? So that's serialization, and deserialization is the opposite of it. So you have a file and has some contents, and you can actually convert that back into a Python object. So that is deserialization. So pickle is a module, like it can be imported like this, like import pickle. So do remember every Python version's pickle module is different. So there is something called protocol version. We're not going to be looking at what protocol is in this video, but it is important. Do take a look. But we'll look at a simple explanation of what this pickle module can do for us. Okay, so now it can be used as a cache, and although pickle can support many object types, there are some limitations, like pickle cannot convert database connections, lambda functions, and threads, and there are some other limitations as well. Now these are the functions that can be used, that comes from pickle module. So dump is a function that can convert your object into uh, a file format. Basically, load is the reverse, which is the deserialization part. So dumps is basically a function that can convert your object to a string format, right? So for the we're going to be looking at the file conversion and then the conversion back to object in this video. So let's actually go ahead and take a look at the example that I have here for you guys. Okay, so now it's a simple example, so let's just go through the code. So I am importing time module, I'm importing pickle, I'm importing OS module. So here I have a function which is quite a heavy function. It is resource intensive. So the function's name is generate even numbers, and it takes this parameter numbers basically. So now that function, it initializes an empty list, and it expects that numbers is going to be an iterable, like a tuple or a list. Now we're going to loop through that list or tuple or any iterable, and then for only the even numbers in that list, we're going to take that number, square it, and then we are going to append it to this empty list that we initialize. So this is a this is a simple logic, but if passed a huge range of numbers like this is numbers ranging from 1 to 30 million, right? So that's a huge list of numbers. When passed such a huge list, this is going to take some time to return with a list of even numbers which are squared, actually even numbers from this range which are squared as well, right? So that's this function. And if you look at this portion, so first we are getting the start time of this section, and it checks whether a certain file exists. So that's what this if condition is for. So OS module is a module that you can use for such things. So it's checking for existence of this file. So if this file doesn't exist, it jumps into the else loop. It actually calls uh, the the function that we declared over here, and then it basically does whatever was explained just a couple of minutes ago. So it's going to return a list of even numbers which are squared, right? So, and then that is assigned or captured into this object, even squares. And so while we are in this else part, it's also going to open a file handler. So now we're passing wb. That means we can write into this file called even.pickle, and then we are going to serialize by calling this dump function, pickle.dump function. Then we are going to pass in this object that was just created, which is a list object, and then we are going to write that into this file that we just got the handle for, right? And then we are closing it. So and then we're trying to print well, we are printing the first 20 numbers, the first 20 the numbers from the first 20 positions, and then we are checking the end time, and then finally we are finding the difference between the start time and end time, and we are printing the time it took for this part totally, right? So this is actually a very straightforward example. So now actually let's go ahead and run this script to see the benefits of pickle module, right? So now I am actually using my command prompt. So I've got Python installed here, and my file's name is pickleexample.py. So I'm going to run this, and before I run this, I want to make sure that I don't have even.pickle file, which is sort of like a cache file. So this file doesn't exist now. Now I'm going to run the script. So by running this command, python and pickle example.py. So now when I run this, as I mentioned before, this is a little bit of a resource intensive function. So it took about 4.3 seconds to execute. So that's coming from this print statement. And then it also printed the first 20 numbers from that list. So that is all good. So now what happened was we basically entered, like, since this file did not exist, we got into the else part, and then we called this function. So this function took about 4.3 seconds to run, and then it also created this pickle file for us. And as you can see, the size of the file is quite big. It's about 123 megabytes. So now next time I run the same script, what do you think will happen? Yep, so this time we're not going to be entering the else part because the file does exist. We are going to just read that file, and we are going to deserialize that file into this object, and then we are just going to print the first 20 numbers as usual. So now when we run this, you can see that the whole thing finished in 0.8 seconds, which is much better, which is 5x better than the first time we ran it actually. So this is sort of like a caching example. So you can use pickle and pickle for such use cases. So yep, so pickle is an amazing module that you can use for serializing and deserializing your objects. And yep, so definitely look into it, and hope hopefully it was helpful. I will be back with another video next week, and feel free to look at other videos I've created for you guys in my channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.